We hold this truth as self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. End of quote. Those are very powerful words lifted from the American Declaration of Independence. Those words form part of the foundation of modern day civilization. You can find the spirit in the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, in the American Charter of Human and People's Rights, in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. With this, I bid you welcome to the 14th edition of our program, How Chevron Nigeria Limited is underdeveloping its host communities vis-a-vis the IRDC and CICD models. Now, the quote we just made reiterates the point that men should be treated equally. People should not be held as slaves. That the era of black and white is over. That the era of inferior and superior is over. How do we relate it to our present discourse? In the course of our discussions, I have made it known that one thing that Chevron has done over the years has been to just identify a few persons whom I call the oligarchy. Now, with these few persons, they have been recycling leadership year in, year out. As I speak with you, Chevron Nigeria Limited has once again perfected plans to go with this same set of people to a destination far away in Lagos State to negotiate the fate of over 500,000 people who know absolutely nothing about the content of their discussion. Gone are the days when people's heads will be shaved behind their back, and that's why we must wake up. Just like Mali said, until the philosophy which holds one race superior and the other inferior is abandoned, rejected, discredited, and completely let go, everywhere will be war. The lesson from that is that we need to treat people equally. A company, a corporate entity as internationally esteemed as Chevron cannot come to its host communities and begin to just handpick a group of people. We're in a democratic world, for crying out loud. We do not practice oligarchy. We do not practice apartheid, where the few will determine the fate of the majority. Chevron should not go on with any further negotiation without broad consultation. They deceive the world that the models they are running has the component of people participation. And I have said, people have called, people have fed me back that indeed they didn't even know the meaning. They didn't even know of the existence of a GMOU. Neither did they know of the existence of an OMOU. Why? Why should you run the fate of people behind them? Why should you privatize commonwealth? That is the purpose for which I am making these videos. I want Chevron to change its attitude towards the fulfillment of its corporate social responsibility. I want to say that the two models, up till date, the way they are being run as a private enterprise, and that is not good enough. If indeed we hold it to be true that all men are created equal, that people should be treated equally, why should one man be the chairman of the be the vice chairman of the IRDC, and in the same vein be the vice chairman of the CICD? What kind of equality is that? Does that appeal to your senses? And that is why I have said that by the conduct of Chevron, it is by act or omission conducting itself in such a manner as to underdevelop the community. Now, elementary sociology tells you that there are different agents of socialization, one of which is the society. What is the composition of our society? Chevron Nigeria Limited is an integral part of the composition of our community. Here is an entity that preaches democracy to the world, that tells the world that it is exploring oil with the highest, best practices, best standards, and yet it is perpetuating Mugabes. It is sustaining Mugabes and keeping them as the front line of their engagement with the communities. What will such breed? What will such breed? It can only breed rancor. It can only breed dissatisfaction. People must participate. This is communal stake. You cannot limit this communal stake to the Mugabes alone. All the shades and components, the tendencies of the communities must be carried along. We all must be treated as equal humans and given equal opportunity. It is enough that Chevron has, for more than 1 decade, be secretly and surreptitiously arranging with the cabal. It is bad enough that Chevron has always drafted the agreement and thrust it upon the lap, making it comfortable for these men and making it irresistible for them not to agree to whatever Chevron does. Is it fair that Chevron will put together a cream of well-selected intellects to draft an agreement which they call renewal of IRDC GMOU, or they call the renewal of CICD OMOU, and then trust it on the laps of the same set of people, while leaving the majority, the major stakeholders, to the life of ignorance? It is indeed imperative for us to wake up. Every indigene of the host communities must become alive. Did you know that for more than 10 years now, Chevron has been renewing agreements with which they spend the fortunes that are paid back to your community as compensation for degradation? Who determines the quantum of these fortunes? We are talking about huge sums of money belonging to a people who have suffered as a result of oil exploration. Must you sit down somewhere, draft an agreement without the input of these people? This is 2020, for crying out loud. We are not in Stone Age, and this must stop. We must wake up. I call on the youths of these communities to wake up and demand for the content of the GMOU, for the content of the OMOU, and for the framework with which the contents, the benefits, entitlement therein contained are delivered. You cannot shave a man's head behind his back. Enough is enough, Chevron. We must stand up, just like we spoke out during the NSARS. This, like I have said, is a species of SARS. We are no longer in slave age. We cannot have our destiny determined by a group of people sitting in Lagos who have annexed some of our Mugabes to rubber stamp what they are doing. Chevron should tell the truth to the world. You only came to the communities, identify some noisemakers with whom you have been trading in the name of consulting with the communities. Each community has a head. The entire tribe has a head. Therefore, it is incumbent on you to take these documents, these terms and conditions, negotiate it. Agreement is defined as the meeting of the mind, consensus addendum. We must change the way that Chevron has been doing things. Change is the only thing that is constant in life. Every other thing is temporary, and time to change is now. Wake up from your slumber, youths of oil producing communities. Wake up from your slumber, youths of IRDC. Wake up from your slumber, youth of CICD and demand to participate in the fortunes of your land. Thank you, and God bless.